Welcome back to McCarthy Performance. We're going to be getting into modifying the tops of these pistons for these rods. We're going to do one. These are not pin fitted yet. I'll pin fit them after I do this procedure. I made the locating pins for these a little bit undersized. But what I've got going on without even putting a pin in it is I can see that I have no room in here. It's going to bind on the top of the piston. This, like I've talked before, this has to be removed out of this piston. It's extremely heavy piston as far as weight goes, and it's extremely thick. Right there, I would say it's about 3/4 of an inch thick, easily. I am going to go in there in the center of the pin, and I'm going to remove this area here. I'm going to cut it down till it's flat. So I'll be probably taking out, depending on where you're talking, this is a fly cut, so I don't want to get too crazy. I'm going to probably just come down until that nub is gone with a 1/2 inch end mill. So we're going to try not to get into too much of this. Obviously the pin's going to, or the rod's going to swing on the center line of the pin, so we don't need a lot of room in here. We just need to take a little bit of that out. So my guess is I'm probably going to be taking about 60 thousandths out. That's what I'm going to do, and then I'll check it every once in a while. Right now it's damn near flush. There's no clearance, and there's got to be something up here, especially with aluminum rod. So we're going to get going on that. Okay, this is the fixtures that I made up for the BHJ plate yesterday. Like I said, I don't know if they make that or not, but this is what I'm going to do. The 2 pins slide in here. You drop the piston down in here. You can see that one's beat up pretty bad. I'm banging them around because they're not finished yet. And I'm not trying to bang them around, but obviously if they were polished, I wouldn't be setting them on a steel countertop. Obviously, I'm not honing inside the piston bore here. That'll be done with an actual hone, not a hand tool. But I'm blending any of the sharp edges off that relief there. This isn't part of the pin bore, but man, they're close. They are really close. When they made these pistons, they rough machined the bores about 10 thousandths undersize. They never made any relief out to the pin area. And what's happening is because these pistons have been banged around, some of them got a few burrs on them, and they don't want the pins that I made to want to hang up a little bit on it. So we just got to tap it over a little bit with a rubber hammer. These pistons have been banging around for many a year, so yeah, there we go. I don't want to get too there. We got to come up with an actual weight to balance everything too, so I got to at least make one of these so we can get an idea what the gram weight's going to be on these pistons after they've been modified. So we'll start the modification process. Okay, we're getting ready to spot face the inside of that piston. Got some hardboard underneath the hold downs. I'm holding this vise down from rocking. I could position it the other way, but I like to keep it this way on my mill. It's easier for me to do that, but it does rock quite a bit. So that should take care of that. We're gonna take a cut, and you're not gonna probably be able to see much of it. We'd have to get you up there. Well, let's see if we can do that. See how that goes. Okay, I think we got it taken out enough. We're going to take it out and we're going to take it out and check it. Probably not going to make a very good video, but there's a lot of trial and fit and looking and deciding whether you want to take more out. So I decided I want to take a little bit more out. I'm going to move the cut from the pin center line just over a little bit. It's not bad, but it can be better. And you know, there's no blueprint on these things. There's no instruction sheet. When you get a piston from one maker and you get a connecting rod from another manufacturer, let's say, it's your responsibility to make it all fit. It'd be great if it all bolted together, but it don't. And once I get one master, if you will, set up where I'm happy with it, then I can duplicate the rest of them. But you know, there's no CNC machine here, and there's no digital readout on this, and it's pretty much cut it and measure it, look at it. But once I get one done, the way I like it, the way I feel comfortable about it, I'll continue. Now, I said that the bosses on the pistons have a little taper to them, and that's normal. And you know, you measure it up here and you say, oh, I got 80 thousandths side to side, 40 thousandths a side, you know, 80 thousandths total, excuse me. Well, that should be good. Well, if you don't check down at the bottom, you could have a serious world of hurt because it is less down here. And that rod, depending on where the center line is on the crank and where the bore is into the block and where everything's riding, if it's tight down there, it can rub down there, and you don't want that. And you know, you most certainly don't want it so tight down there that if the rod grows quicker than the piston, or you know, hopefully they grow at the same time, but if something happens of that nature, it'll catch. And I've had pistons here with aluminum rods that people put together, and you can see right on the rods on both sides where they rubbed. That you know, is going to least of anything. It'll just rub, you know, to the point where it finds clearance or it starts to gall, or it'll knock the skirts off the piston and shoot the damn rod right through the side of the block. So you have your choice there, but I'd rather have a little more than not enough. And we're pretty good. We got about 40 thousandths a side now, but it's still tight down at the bottom. So I'm going to take a little bit more out of the bottom, and I'm going to take the center line, I'm going to move it over. Okay, we're going to go in here with a ball mill because the sides of the web of the pin boss is catching on the sides of the piston rod, on the pin sides, on the radius of the rod and the radius in the piston boss. They're not jiving together, and a lot of times the company will taper the pin bosses on the piston, so as you further down you go, the narrower they get. These don't appear to be exactly that way, but I'm going to ride right on the side of the pin boss. I will probably put these pistons back in and widen the pin bosses. A lot of rod manufacturers, and they may argue with me, but they can leave more clearance there, especially with aluminum rods. You don't want the piston to guide the rod. You want a lot of clearance here, at least 60 plus, as far as I'm concerned. So that's just how I do it. I've had pistons come in here where the rods have hanged onto the sides of the piston, and that's not a good deal. So we're going to go in there and just carefully take a little bit out. Okay, see how that looks. Okay, we're pretty much done modifying the piston, and we weighed them. I lost a whole gram, so we didn't take very much. You got to take a lot of aluminum off something to really make it add up. But anyways, you can see the difference between the two. I opened up the width here, and it was 80. It dropped down to 70 in some areas and less, because you got to figure the radius was dropping down. I was just measuring where the radius wasn't, so the rod was going down further, so it was catching up on the sides. So we opened it to 95, and it's 95 all the way to the floor. And I went in there and just gave it a little bit of a clean up. There's the other piston, and when I say this is 3/4 of an inch thick, I'm not kidding you. This is how much they milled in there, and this is, the fly cut is way up here, so it's extremely thick, about that thick. So these things are heavy. You could probably run nitro with them things. Well, thank you for watching my channel. If you find my videos interesting, please subscribe. Doesn't cost nothing, and you know, thanks.